Good evening. Believe it or not, this is week 5 of Social Work 633, working social work with families. As always, on your syllabus this week in week 5 are your objectives. So your objectives for the week are to describe key concepts of conceptual family therapy, to describe some key concepts of emotionally focused therapy or object relations therapy. I would suggest to you that the way they're listed here, they're listed as though they are interchangeable, but they really are not interchangeable concepts. So I would focus my efforts on contextual family therapy and emotionally focused therapy, because your family therapy theory grid asks you to describe these two in detail. And if you have time, read more on objects relations therapy. You also, under the objectives, will see that we are hoping you can describe typical interventions used in contextual family therapy, and then based on the video, describe and identify interventions used in the video of an emotionally focused couples therapy session. The week 5 readings are here, and then you're asked to read one additional article. Again, I would focus my efforts on attachment theory as it relates to the emotionally focused therapy for couples, and articles on contextual therapy. There are 2 websites on contextual family therapy and emotionally focused therapy, and then your videos for the discussion. Emotionally Focused Couples Therapy by Sue Johnson, and then the podcast with Dr. B. Janet Hibbs, who is being interviewed by Dr. Daniel Gottlieb, who's a well-known therapist in the Philadelphia area who used to run a weekly broadcast on NPR, WHYY, and has recently retired. So next, in week 5, you have your discussions. There are 3. The first is in preparation for your final integrative paper, your genogram and assessment of a family. This asks you to do a genogram based on a present or past clinical case. So this time it is not your own family situation, it is a case situation, and you are being asked to take out names for confidentiality. Here are your resources again, which were the same resources from week 3. And so you're going through the resources in step 1. Step 2, you're drawing a genogram based on that family assessment, that clinical situation. Let me make the screen bigger again. And then step 3, you're going to upload that genogram. You're going to write a short assessment that has your hypothesis about the causes of the problem and any relevant life cycle and or sociological issues and family strengths, and then what issues you encountered with doing the genogram. And so make sure you do all 3 steps in the process, and then you will respond to 2 classmates, and this is due between Thursday and next Sunday. There are 2 other forums. These are both ones where I have already opened up with an initial post, and you are responding to my post. You are not responding to 2 other colleagues, but have to complete the forums as required. So the first one asks you to identify and discuss how 3 of the basic tenets of attachment theory are applied to EFT family therapy. Describe the significance of attachment theory in couples therapy, and then describe how Johnson reframed the client's problem into a cycle reflecting attachment needs and fears. And again, this is one where you will respond to my post. The third discussion is the same thing. You're doing contextual therapy this time. So describe one of the ideas she discussed in the podcast. This is a podcast with Dr. B. Janet Hibbs. Describe a situation with a past client where a loyalty conflict may have occurred and answer those questions. And the third is describe a situation with a past client where issues related to destructive or low entitlement may have occurred and answered those questions. And again, post those. You can respond to others, but you at least have to respond to my initial post. And then you have the family therapy theory grid. And week 5, you have 2 sections to complete. One on the psychodynamic aspects of contextual therapy, the other, the psychodynamic aspects of EFT. So make sure you fill out both of these sections. And as always, there's the self-care activity. You are encouraged to do it, but again, do not have to do it. To talk a little bit about contextual therapy, it was started by a doctor, and I know I will not say his name right, Ivan Bashormenyi-Nagy, who is a well-known psychiatrist and actually worked in Eastern Pennsylvania Psychiatric Institute, which I believe is in the Philadelphia area, for about 20 years. Contextual therapy, briefly, it's a non-directive form of therapy. It looks to promote mutual understanding and trust, fostering a dialogue between family members, and hopefully through that dialogue, make changes. The central point is that disturbances in individuals move into families, and they are an expression and consequence of an imbalance in giving and taking, entitlement and fulfillment. And so contextual therapy looks at the fairness. It looks at getting to mutual responsibility and to a point of equitability. So fairness, justice, equitability are all parts of contextual therapy. Contextual therapists emphasize the ways in which generations are inherently bound to each other. So again, looking at a psychodynamic approach of background and history and what happened in terms of a person's early life and how that comes into family situations and impacts family situations. So generations are inherently bound together. And it also looks at the intrapsychic, which is the psychodynamic piece, and the interpersonal elements. People cannot be removed from their generational rootedness. And because of that, they bring invisible loyalties extending across generations, even when they go into new family units. Emotionally focused therapy is based in attachment theory. So if you want to understand the psychodynamic aspects of EFT, then you have to look more into attachment theory. And one of the articles that you are directed to read for this week talks a lot about attachment theory in relation to EFT. So attachment theory, as you know, was originated by Bowlby and essentially says that we are a product of those early attachments, those early experiences that we have in life. And again, we bring those into our relationships in families. The model of EFT integrates, again, like contextual, the intrapsychic and the interpersonal, and it looks to help the stress partner shape emotional accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement. And Johnson talked about 3 stages. The first, to de-escalate, where couples develop an understanding of the negative interaction cycle that drives distress in their relationship. The second stage of restructuring interactions, which looks to shape new core emotional experiences and new interactions that lead to more secure connections. And then the third stage of it, consolidation, which helps couples use their more secure attachment bond and improve relationship functioning to solve problems in their everyday life. And both therapeutic approaches look to create safe spaces so that couples can restructure their relationship. As always, if there are any questions, please email me. I will hope to get back to you as quickly as possible. And I look forward to reading your post and reading your family therapy theory grid for this week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.